Hi guys, welcome to the Houston Zoo. My name is Kendall. I'm a hoofstat keeper here, so that means that I'm part of the team that takes care of our giraffe herd every day. Thanks for joining us on this Facebook Live. We're here to talk about the giraffes. They're one of my favorite animals, so I'm just going to talk about them a lot. I'm going to ramble in general about all things giraffe. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. So the star of our show right now, the most popular giraffe we have, is Tino, our youngest giraffe baby. He is currently enjoying some acacia browse that was trimmed just this morning so that he could be eaten while you guys are watching him right now. So Tino was born on April 27th, so it makes him about 7 weeks old right now. He is already right at 7 feet tall and weighs over 200 pounds. So he is gaining weight every single day. He's growing every single day. And now, as you can see, he's starting to nibble on solid food. Giraffes are mammals. They do drink milk from mom like all other mammals, but giraffe babies will start eating solid food when they're only about 6 to 8 weeks old. This helps because, like I said, he's growing every day. He weighs almost 200 pounds. He's just gaining weight from there. A single giraffe mom by herself would have trouble producing enough milk to keep him full and keep him from getting hungry. So giraffe babies learn to start eating solid food real quickly, and then they'll continue to nurse from mom until they're about 6 to 8 months old, depending on the giraffe, sometimes even a little bit longer. Like I said, he's enjoying some fresh cut browse right now. This is acacia that he's eating. That's the species of tree. This is what they would be eating in the wild. Acacia trees are found throughout giraffes, geographic range in Africa. Something that's really neat about acacia, I don't know if y'all can tell, but acacia is actually very, very thorny, and giraffe can eat it without having any real problems. They have very, very tough mouths. Thorny things do not bother them, so they're one of the few species out there that can eat acacia. And it means that they don't have to worry about competition from other species in Africa, because other things don't necessarily want to eat the thorny acacia, and giraffes can. You can see little Tino there. His spot pattern is unique to him. Every giraffe's spot pattern is unique to them, just like our fingerprints are to us as humans. So those spots that you see all up and down his body, they're never going to change shape. They're never going to change in number. They're just going to get bigger as he grows bigger. So you can use those unique shapes, spot shapes, to identify giraffe and tell them apart. We get asked a lot how we can tell these giraffe apart, and some of those spot patterns is a way to do it. And they also have a little bit different face shapes. You can see chameleon right now. Well, you can see an ostrich right now, but next to the ostrich is chameleon. That's Tino's mom. Chameleon is our lightest giraffe color-wise. You can see we say that she's the blondest of the group. She's got just a lighter face that's almost white in between her spots in a way that the others are not. So you can tell her apart because of her fur color. So all the giraffes look a little bit different. They've got different spots. They've got different colorations. If you guys have been down to see our herd lately, you know our male Zawadi is really, really dark in color. He's just getting darker as he gets older. I think we're panning over to him now. That's Zawadi. That's the dad to Tino. You can see he's a lot darker compared to chameleon, the one you were looking at earlier. So hair color in giraffes is a lot like hair color in humans. It's just based on genetics. Some giraffe have really, really dark fur on their spots. Some have really light fur. We've got a question from Stacy. She was asking, how early do giraffes start eating browse? Usually about the 6-week mark is how early they'll start to nibble at it. Now, we see them kind of mouthing at things a lot. They're babies. Same way that human babies will kind of pick stuff up and put it in their mouth to explore a new thing. Baby giraffe will start putting solid food in their mouth and just kind of mouthing it, maybe even as early as 4 weeks. But by 6 to 8 weeks is really good enough at using his tongue to pull the browse off in pieces the way that he wants. So right now he's just kind of gumming the sticks and pulling off what leaves he can. He's learning. He's learning to be a big boy giraffe. Andrew wants to know, how long can giraffes live? That's a good question, and it's going to be a little bit different for male giraffe versus female giraffe. Male giraffe don't live as long as females. So if you look up the average, like online, it's going to tell you the average is probably about 25 years. But the truth is that males don't live that long, and females live longer than that, a lot of times, in zoos and in human care. So somewhere around 20 to 30 is probably normal for most giraffe, but break it down by males and females and you're going to see a little bit of a different average. The reason males don't live quite as long as the females in general is because they're just bigger animals. Usually the males are anywhere from a foot to 2 feet taller than the females, and they weigh several thousand pounds more. Maybe not several thousand, but they weigh 500 to 1,000 pounds more than the females. So they're just bigger. Their body has to work a little bit harder to support an animal that's a little bit bigger. And because of that, they don't survive quite as long. I like to tell people it's kind of the difference between small dogs and big dogs. Like small dogs can live for a long, long, long time. Chihuahuas live forever. But, you know, Great Danes, I want to say 7 to 10 years is pretty normal for a Great Dane. So in general, bigger animals just don't have quite as long a lifespan as small ones. And you can see that reflected even in just the average lifespan of giraffes. Looks like Tino might be done playing with the browse, but the adults are not done. It's their favorite thing. We grow 20 different species of plants and bushes on zoo grounds that we can feed out to our animals. We have a horticulture team here that grows the plants and trims them and delivers it to our barns so that we can make sure that these guys are getting nice fresh leaves right off the branch, just like they would be doing in the wild. So as great as Tino is, he's not the only reason why we're doing this Giraffe Facebook Live. We're also doing it to celebrate a little bit of World Giraffe Day. So World Giraffe Day is actually tomorrow, the 21st of June, and we're going to be celebrating World Giraffe Day actually this Saturday from 10 to 2. World Giraffe Day is designed to try to promote some awareness of the conservation issues that giraffes face in the wild. And we're going to be having lots of fun activities so that everybody coming out to the zoo on Saturday can learn a lot more about giraffes, how we take care of them here, and also how our conservation partners in the wild are protecting them. When you guys come to the Houston Zoo and when you support us, a portion of those ticket proceeds, they end up going to support giraffe conservation organizations in the wild. And so we want to bring awareness to that, and we want to really talk about it a lot. This Saturday, we're going to be celebrating World Giraffe Day. Like I said, from 10 to 2, it's going to be right over by the giraffe barn, kind of near the carousel. We're going to have lots of activities. We're going to have enrichment out for people. Work that we're helping support in the wild for giraffe. Like I said, from 10 to 2. It's included in zoo admission. You guys can come and check out our World Giraffe Day event this Saturday. Serena is asking, is there more than one species or type of giraffe? That's a good question with a complicated answer. Right now, generally, giraffe are treated as just one species, and they are broken down into 9 different subspecies. What we have are Maasai giraffe. They're the type of giraffe that's most commonly found in Kenya and Tanzania. Science is always evolving, science is always learning, and science is always changing, science is always learning, and we're starting to do genetic studies of giraffes in the wild, and we're starting to realize that they're a little bit more genetically different than we initially thought. So now there's new evidence that suggests there are actually 4 species of giraffe in Africa that are genetically distinct enough to be considered separate species. Now, science doesn't work where one person just says it instead of the first study. So, can't necessarily say for sure that there are 4 species right now, but it's looking like pretty soon we will start dividing them into 4 species. So, if they do get divided into 4 species, Maasai giraffe kind of become their own thing, which is what we have here. Maasai giraffe can be kind of distinct from other giraffes by looking at their spot pattern. Their spots are very jagged and irregularly shaped on Maasai giraffe, while as on other more common types of giraffe, like reticulated giraffe, they have very smooth shaped lines. While as these guys look a little bit more like puzzle pieces, kind of like jigsaw pieces, they can also look a little bit like leaves that have fallen. That's the spot pattern that these guys have. Someone wants to know what's their favorite enrichment. You guys are looking at their favorite enrichment right now. The browse that we can feed them is their absolute favorite thing. They will eat all the leaves off the sticks, then they will eat the sticks, and then they will just pull all the bark off the sticks. They will consume all of it, and they will stand there for a very, very long time and be eating browse. Browse is their favorite enrichment. We also have some puzzle feeders that they like. We can put food inside things with holes that are drilled in it, so they have to stick their tongue into the object to pull it out. That's another favorite piece of enrichment for them. But browse is really just their absolute number one. They spend so much time playing with it. They love it. What does a giraffe's diet include? That is a good question. Again, not a quick answer, but it includes a lot of things. In the wild, they're mostly just eating leaves off trees. So the browse that you're watching them eat right now, that's the bulk of their food in the wild. In zoos, we also provide an alfalfa hay for them to eat because it provides them a little bit more quantity than we can give them. We would kill all the trees in the zoo if we tried to feed these guys just leaves off trees, and then we wouldn't have any shade and everyone would be sad in the summer. So instead, we feed them some browse and we feed them a lot of alfalfa hay. They also get a pelleted grain diet that has a lot of the raw nutrients that they need. But the majority of their diet is going to be the alfalfa and the browse. Then they also get a little bit of romaine lettuce at our giraffe feeding platform every day. They also get some behind the scenes. So if they want it, they can get lettuce a couple different times of day. They can get kale, they can get sweet potato and carrots, and even apples sometimes. But a lot of the fruit and veggies we give in really small amounts. They're actually pretty high in sugar. We as people, we think of fruits and veggies as healthy food. But to a giraffe, an apple is actually really a lot higher in sugar than what they normally eat. So it's kind of like a candy snack for them. We got another question. How long will Tino nurse for? Tino's probably going to keep nursing from mom until he's anywhere from 6 to 8 months old. We've even had some very tolerant giraffe moms here that have let their kids nurse up until they're about a year old. So we let the moms decide when to wean their calves. Camille, I think, in the past has been a pretty normal time. I'd say somewhere between 6 months and 8 months to wean is normal. Like I said, they start eating solid food really early, so by the time mom's ready to wean them, they're already very used to eating solid food. We also got asked, how tall is Tino? Tino is a little bit over 7 feet tall at this point. He was in the 6 foot range when he was born, and he is just growing like a weed, growing every day. By the time he's 1 year old, he'll probably be close to 10 feet tall. That's been pretty normal for most of our giraffe here. So they grow a lot in that first year. He's just constantly eating, sleeping, and growing. That's what takes up the majority of his day. We've got Gigi, I think, on the camera right now. That's Tino's, let's say, aunt, kind of loosely related aunt. She does a really good job keeping an eye on him when his mom, Camille, needs to go off and eat. So giraffe babies don't necessarily stick just with their mom 100% of the time. Sometimes she'll leave them with a bit of a babysitter. And Gigi and Asali are the names of our 2 other females in our herd, and they will take turns babysitting him while Camille goes about her day, because she needs to be able to go drink water, she needs to be able to eat food, things like that. Tino will stick with either one of the others, and they'll just kind of stand over him and stand around him and keep an eye on him throughout the day. So sometimes when you come by, you might not see him standing with mom, you might see him standing with one of our other giraffe. That just means that they're on babysitting duty that time. Someone wants to know, how tall can they get? Giraffe usually top out somewhere between 14 and 17 feet tall. Males tend to be a little bit on the taller end, females a little bit on the shorter end, but we've got a female that defies that here at the zoo. Our female Asali, she's the oldest female in our herd. She is like 16 and a half feet tall. She is quite big. So she is a very big girl. So, you know, even the females can be tall. So anywhere between 14 and 17 feet tall is considered normal. There are some really tall giraffe out there that maybe even in the 18 feet range. When you start getting above 20 feet, or people claiming that they have a giraffe that's over 20 feet, I start to not believe them. I think they're using a funny measuring stick, because 14 to 17 is much more normal. They are the tallest animals in the world. They also have the largest eyeballs of any land mammal. So they have really good eyesight, and they can see long distances because they're tall. So they're actually sometimes referred to as the alarm call of the savannah, because when a giraffe is eating or walking, it can see for a long distance. If it sees something it considers to be a threat, like a predator or just something, or a storm or just something scary, it'll turn and it'll leave the area. And if a giraffe turns and runs, everything in the area is going to turn and run. All the zebra, all the wildebeest, all the everything is just going to also clear out of the area. They don't know why they're running, but if they see the giraffe leaving, they're going to leave too, because they know that the giraffe can see further away than them, and they don't want to be around when whatever it is that scared the giraffe showed up. So they kind of are an early warning system for their shorter roommates in the savannah. Someone's asking, how big of a herd can the Houston Zoo accommodate? It kind of depends on if it's one herd or if it's more than one herd. We have had 10 giraffe here before, but at that point, 4 of them were not adults. They were young. They were either babies or they were sub-adults. That was a little bit crowded for us, so we want, I think, anywhere between 3 to 8 is a pretty comfy size for us. But again, it can change if you have a baby, you know, and suddenly you have one more. It's usually not that big of a problem. Giraffe are big animals, but they're really only covering space if they need to eat. So when all of their food's provided for them, they don't travel super far in the wild. So we can have a pretty big herd here because we make sure that they have enough food. In the wild, herd size is really dependent on the amount of trees and food and water in the area. Here at the zoo, they have unlimited amounts of food and water, and they don't have to worry about that. So we can end up having a pretty big herd here at the zoo, which is good. We have a really successful breeding program here. That's why Zawadi came to us. He was supposed to be our breeding male. He's recommended to breed with all of our girls, and Camille was just the one that won the race first. So he's our breeding male. We want more giraffe babies from him in the future. Tino will not live here his whole life. Eventually he's gonna go and probably live at his own zoo where he can be the breeding male. All of the girls that he lives with right now are related to him, so he's not gonna be able to be a dad if he stays here. So at some point when he's fully grown and ready to leave mom, he's gonna go to another zoo where he can be a dad. And then we're just, you know, keep making more giraffe. We have a really successful breeding program here. We've had lots of calves born throughout the years. We've got multiple females that are all experienced moms. We've got a really, really good, successful breeding program here. And Tino's proof of that. Oh, he just got hit in the face. Sorry. Well, that might be all for today. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Please don't forget, join us this Saturday for World Giraffe Day. We're going to be out from 10 to 2 right by the giraffe farm. We're going to have lots of activities to celebrate World Giraffe Day.